Special Valentine's Day episode for you today, my Astro family. We're going to talk about the energy, the astrology around Valentine's 2025. We're also going to get into a little bit of relational astrology and helping you have the best relationship with your partner based on your birth charts. And if you're single, don't click away because the information we're going to talk about today is going to help you if you are ready to mingle, if you're going on a first date, or even if you're just having a solo Valentine's Day, what to look for when it comes to the chart of your new potential future partner. So if you are single, I hope you enjoy spending some time with me today. You always have this podcast to keep you company as your relational astrologer. I am so dedicated to helping you have the best relationships possible using astrology, understanding the current cosmic weather, and everything in between. So I'm looking forward to really breaking down this Valentine's Day energy. We're going to be pulling up the chart here, navigating what the planets, who I like to call life coaches, are trying to guide us to do around this special day. And also grab your birth chart because we're going to talk a little bit about the energy coming up during the eclipse season. Over the next few months, there's a lot of shifts in store for our relationships, so we will prepare for that today. And I'm going to give you some tips and tricks to look for in your partner's chart to have the best relationship with them. Welcome back to the Relational Astrology Podcast. If you're new here, I'm Mandy Rose. In our episodes, we talk about all different things to help you improve the relationships in all aspects of your life. I know that relationships are one of the most important things to all of us, hence why we celebrate love and Valentine's Day. Yet, on the other hand, they tend to be the most complicated, most frustrating, most difficult thing that we're ever going to do. So we use astrology here as a tool to bridge that gap, to navigate the energy, to make sense of it, and to ultimately improve the connections in our life. So if you're down for that, subscribe, hang out. Welcome to our Astro family over here. Now, as we break down the astrology of Valentine's Day, what we need to understand first, which is really, really exciting, is that in 2025, Valentine's Day falls on a Friday. This is super cool because Friday is connected to Venus, the planet of love and beauty and romance and harmony and pleasure and all the things that bring joy into our life. And so Venus is connected to Friday. This year, Valentine's Day falls on a Friday. So it's connected to this Venusian energy, which I absolutely love. And as we pull up the chart here, we need to look at what Venus is up to. Because as a planet, as an energy, as a life coach, she's always teaching us in this season, in this cycle of the astro weather, how to attract, how to magnetize, how to pull things into our life that we find beautiful and pleasurable, like money, like relationships, like material possessions. And that changes as she moves through different zodiac signs. Now, if you're in our Telegram channel, the Astro Weather Report, when Venus moved into Aries, I did a whole workshop on how to sit in this Venus and Aries energy to attract everything you desire. And because she's going to retrograde in this energy, this is something we definitely need to understand. She's going to be hanging out here for an extra amount of time in 2025. But more on that in a moment. Now, this Venus and Aries energy, as we see here from the birth chart of Valentine's Day, the energy that you're going to be feeling, whether you are single, staying home, spending time with me here on this podcast, or alone in your house, just doing the things that you love to do, or if you're in a partnership and you're going on a first date or a second date or a long-term committed marriage. No matter what, Venus in Aries is teaching us to be in the attraction energy of the femme fatale. We talked in the Telegram group that the archetype really is the superwoman, the Amazonian warrior princess, the femme fatale sexy goddess that gets what she wants by being clear, by being direct, by being bold, by speaking and expressing her needs, wants, and desires, and not playing any games. So around this Valentine's Day, to get what you want, to have the joy, to have the romance, to have the pleasure, to have the partnerships, you got to focus on what do you want? What do you need? Being clear about that, not expecting your partner to read your mind, going on that first date and not expecting them to know everything about you right away. You have the responsibility with Venus and Aries when it comes to our partnerships right now to be direct, to be a little bit more obvious, to be a little bit more bold, to be fun and childlike and playful and sassy, right? Aries is the energy of the toddler under 7. It gets what it wants. It does what it wants to do. It has independence and autonomy. And so we need to remember that in our relationships, this is also important. We just went through an entire eclipse cycle, right? With the North Node in Aries, the South Node in Libra. We just came out of that as the node shifted on January 11th, 111, into Pisces and Virgo. But the last 18 months was all about us getting rid of people pleasing, worrying about the opinions of others, giving too much to others, and putting our own oxygen masks on and figuring out what is it that we want? What is it that we desire? And no longer compromising that just for the sake of a relationship. So this Valentine's Day, that theme, that energy is potent and important to understand. Now, we do also have to remember that Venus, where she is on Valentine's Day, 6 degrees of Aries. So check your birth chart. Do you have any planets in Aries? Are they around the 6-degree mark where Venus is? Venus rules our relationships and pleasure. She's coming back. She's coming back to this exact same point in the sky. So what is going on in your relationships around Valentine's Day could circle back because she's going to retrograde. So she's going to be back to this area of the sky next month. And I'm going to put the dates here so you can see and mark and note this in a journal. What was going on the first time today on Valentine's Day that Venus is at 6 degrees of Aries. She's going to come back a second time as she retrogrades back. And then she's going to end her retrograde and come back into Aries a third and final time, crossing 6 degrees again. And there's this energy of resolution and things coming up and learning and reevaluating and figuring out what brings you more pleasure, what brings you more joy, speaking more and more your needs and finding that balance. And this is going to go on till almost May. Now, this is the benefit of having my Astrology Alchemy journal. I designed it as a journal, not a planner, a place for you to answer journal prompts, to reflect what is going on in your life during certain transits, during certain seasons, because they circle and cycle and come back. This is a perfect example on Valentine's Day where Venus is, she's coming back 2 more times into this exact same moment, to this exact same energy when it comes to partnerships. So if you're going on a first date, a conversation that you have on that first date, you may need to have it again and remind them your needs, your wants, your desires as they try to push your boundaries, or say, oh, I know you said that you love living here. They might say, but I want to move here. Would you be open to that? Right? Now you have to have that conversation on the 3rd date, the 4th date, as you're figuring each other out. Even in marriages or long-term partnerships, there may need to be this conversation around what you want, what you desire, how you've lost yourself in this partnership, and how you need to get it back. And the last thing I want to say with this Venus and Aries energy, this is not always the case every Valentine's Day, but this year I can definitely see more people being solo on Valentine's Day than ever before. Because Venus in Aries is independent. It's self-love. It's focusing on the self. So if you are single and you're frustrated that you don't have a date or something special planned, it's okay. Because even people who are married or in partnerships may not even be spending Valentine's Day together this year anyways. One person could be traveling, one person could be dealing with the kids, and the other person has a work obligation. Like, there could be so many other factors, but I really see it challenging for couples to be together on the exact holiday. It may be a week later that people celebrate. You may meet someone and then not end up going on a first date with them for, another couple weeks. There's just this energy around independence and focusing on your own needs and wants on this Valentine's Day versus the partnership energy. Now, if you are going on a date, you are going to be with your significant other, let's kind of look at what the other planets are communicating or reminding us energetically to do around this time. So I love to look at the moon because the moon is always going to symbolize how we're going to be feeling emotionally. So on Valentine's Day, our emotions are in the energy of Virgo. And when it's in the energy of Virgo, it's feeling safe, secure, and comfortable, because that's what the moon means, right? Feeling safe, secure, and comfortable when it comes to having order, when there's no chaos, no disorganization. There's also this energy around releasing or letting go, because the South Node is here, right? The South Node, we're going to have an eclipse here in 1 month exactly from Valentine's Day. More on that in just a second. Is releasing and letting go of perfectionism, nitpicking, nagging, critiquing, the shadow aspects of Virgo that can lead to really strong emotions in our partnerships. If someone is nagging you and critiquing you, you're not going to feel emotionally safe. If someone is expecting you to be perfect, you're not going to feel safe. The moon is reminding us in Virgo that to have safety, security, and comfort, we need to have stability. We need to have organization. We need to have understanding of what's going on here, order, not chaos. So if in your partnerships it's been very chaotic, or you're with someone and you're dating them and it just feels energetically chaotic, you might be letting that go at this time. You might be saying, you know what, this doesn't emotionally feel right for me. I'm not going to do this. Now, where we see the moon here, it is opposite everything in Pisces. Mercury just entered Pisces today. Saturn, Neptune, North Node. The moon activating all of that, bringing up emotions around the things we're supposed to be doing towards the Pisces area, Pisces energy. So let's break that down because this is really, really important for us to understand, and it's going to play out all the way till May. Mercury officially today on Valentine's Day moves into Pisces. Love, love, love this energy for love, for relationships, because Pisces is the energy of compassion, empathy, forgiveness, healing, cleansing, releasing, letting go, clearing the slate, clearing the karma, cutting cords, moving on with healed energy. So now Mercury shows up on Valentine's Day, so communication and conversations can be in this mindset, Mercury, the mind, in the tone, in the language, in the exchanging of words with the filter of Pisces. Having conversations that might be hard and challenging, which is Saturn's doing, so we'll get into that in just a moment. But there's more willingness with the mind and the communication to be more forgiving, to be more empathetic, to be more compassionate, to be more understanding. Perfect timing with what is going on here in all the astrology in this season, right? So expect these conversations to lean a little bit more towards cleansing and healing and forgiving. Now, the one thing with Mercury and Pisces we do have to be aware of is Pisces is the hidden, the unseen. It is the space and the energy of things being foggy, hazy, delusional. It's like putting rose-colored glasses on and being like, I don't want to admit that my partner's like this. I just would rather be in la la land, right? Mercury comes in and is like, no, we're going to talk about the delusional stuff. We're going to talk about the hidden things. We're going to talk about the secret things. It's a season where things have to come up to be healed. So you might need to reveal a need, a want, a desire. You might need to reveal a secret you've been holding to yourself. Maybe your partner does the same. Uncomfortable, right? It is uncomfortable to admit the things that we'd rather wear rose-colored glasses to not see. Now, also, we have Saturn here, right? So Saturn is like, do the hard thing, commitment and discipline. The moon opposite Saturn is emotionally reminding us that in order to feel safe in this partnership, I got to commit to only partners that make me feel safe. And what relationships do I want to anchor into? What relationships do I want to create a foundation around? Which are the ones that are going to make me feel safe, that are going to bring more order into my life? See, the moon in Virgo loves acts of service. It loves situations or partnerships that benefit you, that make your life easier, not chaotic. And so there is this energy in our partnerships right now where we're going to have to, around Valentine's Day, have these tough conversations around long-term commitment, around these challenges, to have tough conversations that require healing, that require empathy and forgiveness, of going back to things unsaid, going back to old situations to clear and release and heal. And Neptune in the North Node, right? Neptune is very much about magic and rose-colored glasses and delusional and fantasy and rom-com. And like, I love that Neptune is involved in this energy, and it's near the North Node. So the North Node is the next chapter. It's drawing you forward. And the next chapter has magic in it. Your partnership, there is magic, there's faith, there's hope, there's optimism with Neptune, that we do this work, we figure out who to commit to, we do some healing, we reveal some secrets, we go through the cleansing process to wipe the slate clean. There is magic on the other side. And the North Node is drawing you in that direction, whether you like it or not, wiping the slate clean. So what this looks and feels like in our partnerships, especially around Valentine's Day, is if you are single, when you are meeting someone, you're sizing them up right away for the long haul. You're having that first date and you're immediately listening to what they're saying. You're analyzing, you're connecting the dots. Is this someone I want to commit to? And having the vision and the faith that, yeah, it could be very magical, but I have to make sure my needs and wants are met. I need to make sure this person brings peace and structure and organization into my life, not chaos. And then I'll commit, and then we can move forward. And if you are in a long-term partnership, there's the energy of compassion and empathy. With the Mercury, our mind is more willing to go there, to heal, to cleanse, knowing and having faith that we'll get to the other side. Now, we are going to have some people probably breaking up around this time as they're realizing their needs and wants and desires aren't being met. That they are recognizing that these long-term commitments, you've been putting them on a pedestal, you've been delusional, you've been putting rose-colored glasses on, and you're taking them off and realizing, you know what? No, this doesn't emotionally make me feel good, so I got to let it go. Here's the other thing. Let's kind of zoom out a little bit about what's going on in the grand scheme of the astrology that I really need you to understand, especially when it comes to relationships, right? Is the fact that we're going through a massive karmic reset, a clearing of energy. And Venus is going retrograde very shortly, coming up in March. Venus represents our relationships. So if you feel like your relationships have been very toxic, lots of arguments, you're not on the same page, things are getting disconnected, things from the past are coming up, things are getting really wonky, trust that they're coming up to be healed. Like a downpouring rain, Pisces washes things away and renews them. Now, I want you to hear this because this is so mind-boggling, and I'm having so many conversations and one-on-one sessions with my clients and couples and people asking me about their relationships and sending me text messages about their relationships, doing mini readings as they're meeting people and going on first dates. This is my jam. This is what I do all the time. And the biggest conversation we're having is around the fact that Venus is going to cross 29 degrees of Pisces, what I like to call the karmic reset point, 3 times. She's already done it once, right? Kind of talked about that in the intro. Venus is going to retrograde back over 29 degrees of Pisces. Now, this is why it's important. Every planet that leaves Pisces and enters into Aries gets a reset. Pisces is the final energy. It's the cleansing, the purging, the clearing, the letting it go. It's the final month of the astrological new year. You can think of it as December 31st. January 1st, New Year begins in the Gregorian calendar. We celebrate the astrological New Year the day the sun goes to 0 degrees of Aries. That is the spring equinox. Spring has sprung, fresh flowers, a new beginning. The dark clouds of winter are gone, and we celebrate the new fresh start of the astrological New Year when the sun goes from 29 Pisces to 0 Aries. Each of the planets do the same thing energetically. Now, Venus has already crossed 29 degrees of Pisces and entered into 0 degrees of Aries. When that happened, our relationships, and here's the dates, right? When that first date happened, that maybe activated some of the triggers in your relationships. And around finances and creative projects and material possessions and all the other things that Venus rules, but we're talking about relationships now. Brought up some karma that needs to be cleared, old conversations, old toxic energy. Remember, in partnerships, relationship is energy. You are connecting your cord to another person, and there's this exchange of energy. And someone may have done something in the partnership 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and you forgave and you moved on, but you're still feeling it, right? That resentment, that energy is still stuck in that cord of the relationship. And that maybe got triggered when Venus crossed the karmic reset point of 29 Pisces. And now she's going to go back. She's going to retrograde and go back a second time on this date. That is a time where we get to go back and wipe that slate clean. We're dealing with it. We're processing it. And remind you, Mercury is going to be retrograding side by side with her over this 29-degree Pisces mark as well, 3 times. So our mind and the conversation, the communication is allowing us to reset. Going back to old conversations, resetting the energy. It's this under the surface. Pisces is hidden. You may not actually see it, but you're feeling the reset. It's literally like waking up one day and you're no longer resentful. You're no longer angry about it. It's just, it let go. It let go, and you can start your partnerships new, right? Because then when Venus crosses that karmic reset point, 29 Pisces goes back into Aries, which she already did once. When she does it after her retrograde, we get a full do-over. We get a brand new slate, a brand new opportunity to rebuild our relationship, rebuild our connection again. And you may be doing that with your current partner. You may be doing that with a brand new partner. You may be doing that with an old partner from the past that you've healed things and you've rebirthed your own identities, and now you're coming back together again. This next 3 months in the astrology, when it comes to relationships specifically, is such a karmic resetting. And I'll make a whole other podcast episode of this if you want me to dive deeper and explain it deeper. And maybe we could talk about the different rising signs. Let me know if you're interested, because this is a conversation I'm having with all of my clients and one-on-one readings. But I really want to keep it back to Valentine's Day. So just know that this Valentine's Day is a piece of the puzzle of the bigger energy around the astrology and what's to come. Okay. The last thing I kind of want to remind you is we got Jupiter here. Jupiter is at 11 degrees of Gemini. Jupiter is the planet of expansion and blessing and growth and opportunity. So he is out of retrograde on Valentine's Day, bringing in more gifts and abundance in the Gemini area of your birth chart. So check where Gemini is in your chart. What house does it represent? The relationships connected to that house is the relationships that might bring you gifts or blessing. You might expand and get more of these types of relationships in your life. Now, if you don't know what that means, go back to my episode where I talk about the relationships in each and every house, in each and every area of your life. So for example, the third house is about communication. So you're like, oh, Gemini's my third house. What relationships have to do with the third house? I thought it just had to do with communication. No, there's specific relationships in each area of your life. Okay, so go back and watch that episode if it's a little confusing for you. And lastly, the energy around Valentine's Day may not be the sexiest, the most intimate, because we've got Mars retrograde. And Mars is our drive, our passion, our desire, our primal instincts. And so there might not be a lot of people having sexy time around this Valentine's Day, especially my Scorpio and Aries risings. You're ruled by Mars. He is retrograde, especially in a water sign. So you might not be feel like getting it on or being super intimate. And that's okay, because we're meant to have more of these tough conversations, to be more emotional, to clear and cleanse and heal. And in new partnerships, have these conversations around commitment and what you're feeling and what you're desiring, and talking about your needs and your wants. So there may not be as much of that, and that's okay too. You have this Venus and Aries energy of passion around getting what you want out of partnerships, for it to serve a need that you need. For some people, the need is companionship. For some people, the need is financial benefit. No shame in that, especially if both people are honest and they're revealing this truth and they're talking about it. For some people, a relationship is more of a learning and growing experience. So they're willing to go through challenges, right? Figuring out what you need first and then figuring out the relationship that serves those needs is really important. And if it works for both people, even better. So with all of that, I do want to kind of give you some tips or tricks on what to look for in your partner's chart to have better relationships. And if you haven't seen my mini series, for 14 days, I'm doing a 14-day mini series to celebrate Valentine's Day over on my socials. So go binge that every day, giving you a different aspect to look for in your partner's chart so you can start being the best lover they ever had, to meet them where they're at. The best thing you can do is use your partner's birth chart as an instruction manual on how to love them. Your birth chart is your instruction manual on how to navigate your life. Your partner's birth chart is an instruction manual on how they need to be loved by you, who they are, what they need, what they desire, what their goals are, what their purpose is, what their mission is, how they feel and express their emotions. All of this you're going to find in their chart. It is truly the key. So one of the best things that you can do is look at their moon sign. I talk about this over and over and over again. If you meet your partner's moon sign, you are going to make them feel safe, secure, and comfortable. They're not going to be triggered. They're not going to have emotional meltdowns. When they do have these meltdowns, you're going to be able to look at their chart and be like, oh, this is how it's going to come up and out. And this is how I can soothe it when it comes up and out, whether it's my fault or the world, Go watch my episode after this one on moon sign placements. I am telling you, you are going to learn so much about your partner just from their moon sign. Also, if you want to learn more about your partner and their birth chart and their instruction manual on how to love them best, join me in my masterclass. This is something I've been wanting to do for a really long time. I've had a lot of requests from one-on-one readings that they want to dive deeper on their partner. Maybe their partner doesn't want to get a reading because, they're not really that interested in astrology, but you want to deepen your connection you want to understand someone better, this is the masterclass for you. Now, if you're single, this masterclass is actually going to benefit you 10 times more than anyone in a relationship, because you're going to know exactly what to look for when you meet a future potential partner. You're going to have this info right off the bat. And you're going to be able to look at their chart and be like, yeah, actually, that doesn't vibe with me. Or, yeah, no, I don't think that's exactly what I'm looking for. So when you get their birth chart, I know, ladies, you do this all the time. You ask a man at a bar and they tell you, and you're like, oh, they're a Gemini moon and a this, and a that. But you don't know what to do with this information. I'm about applying it, the application of astrology, to actually make a difference in your day-to-day world, in your relationships, to work with it. My single Astro family members, this is going to be the masterclass that is going to benefit you 10 times over. And all of those in a relationship, I guarantee this is going to shift the way in which you interact with your partner. We're going to go into their Mercury, their Venus, their Mars, their fifth house, their seventh house, their north node, how to blend your energy with theirs. Like so much. It's going to be a 2-hour intensive, February 23rd. I hope you'll join me live, because if you join live, you may have the opportunity for me to read your partner's chart as an example. That'll be so fun to do. And if you can't join us live, A-okay. Of course, there's going to be a replay where you can sit down, make a date night out of it with your partner, bring their chart, bring your chart, talk about it, have some fun together. And I hope to see you there. It's going to be absolutely amazing. So with all of that, I'm going to just wrap up this podcast episode like we do every single time with What's in Our Orbit, a segment where I remind you what's going on within our Astro family, so you can reach out and grab it if you so choose. The first thing is, of course, the masterclass. You don't want to miss that. You can sign up in the description box below. I have the link. Everyone who signs up is going to get a free PDF on looking and cheat sheet code to your partner's chart. So you have that before the masterclass, ready to dive in as we get started. The second thing that is in our orbit always is the Astrology Alchemy Journal. It's never too late to purchase a copy. It is part educational, part interactive. If you're just starting to learn about astrology, you're going to learn so much about the zodiac signs, each new and full moon, the planets, so much more. And of course, because it's a journal, not necessarily a planner, you can go in and fill out these journal prompts, especially for moments like now when Venus is going to cross the same point of the sky that she is on Valentine's Day 2 more times. She's going to cross that karmic reset point 2 more times. You're going to have a moment to go back and reflect and be like, what was going on that day? What was happening in my life at the last full moon last year in Leo? And have a reference point. So that is here. You can get the PDF version, download it, immediately start taking notes and answering the journal prompts, reflecting all the way back to the beginning of the year. Or if you want a physical copy like this, you can go ahead and purchase that. I'll get it sent out to you right away. And the third and final thing, I already mentioned it, is our mini series over on socials, the 14-day mini series, helping you become the best lover your partner ever had. It's been so fun to put that together. I've been doing it to celebrate Valentine's Day. I just love the energy this year. And I know that so many people are going to be needing that in their partnerships. So go check that out. I'll see you over there. We can chit chat some more. And remember, of course, we can be on Telegram chit chatting every single day. The Astro family is meeting over there. I give you voice memos every day how to navigate the upcoming astro weather, which is probably going to be really important as we go through the upcoming eclipse season and all the retrograde energy. And we do workshops. I do free readings sometimes for people. We do full and new moon ceremonies together. We have a group chat going on. Such a fun space. So if you're over there, hi, thank you for being a part of our community there. And if you want to come join us, link is in the description box for a free 7-day trial. That is going to expire here very shortly, as we're going to take this Telegram channel to a whole new level in the astrological new year. So I'll be talking more about that very soon. You can get in for the current pricing right now. So happy Valentine's Day. Whether you are loving yourself, loving your partner, loving your community, loving God, whatever you are doing to celebrate love and pleasure and joy on this special day of 2025, sending you so much love from me. I appreciate you being here, being a part of our Astro family. If you are solo this Valentine's Day, thank you for spending some time with me. I hope I could keep you a little bit of company. If you are single and ready to mingle, I hope this episode gave you some tips and tricks on what you need to expect, not only on Valentine's Day, but through the mini series, what to look for in a potential partner's chart. And if you are in a romantic relationship, I hope your day is super dreamy and magical, despite maybe some of the tough conversations you're having. And as always, I'm curious, what are your plans for Valentine's Day? Are you going on a date? Are you doing something special at home? Let me know in the comments below how you're going to be celebrating. And until our next episode, may the stars keep guiding you on your path. Thank you so much for tuning in today and spending some of your magical minutes on Earth with me. Find me on Instagram or TikTok at The Relational Astrologer, where we connect daily and vote on future episode topics. If today's episode offered new insights, make sure you subscribe. And if you're finding value here, consider leaving a review. It helps others seeking harmony in their relationship find us too. And don't forget, as my thank you for helping me spread this mission, every review or share of an episode enters you into our monthly giveaway for a free 30-minute reading with me. To participate, just leave a review or share an episode to your social media, take a screenshot, and email it to me at therelationalastrologer@gmail.com. Every reviewer will receive a free PDF relationship astrology guide, and one lucky winner each month will receive a 30-minute personal astrology session. I'll announce the winner on Instagram on the first of every month, so stay tuned and enter as many times as you desire. Thank you so much for being a part of my Astro family. I'm so grateful you came into my orbit.